Okay, everyone, we are here. The 10 best war movies. I know I said that I would release this yesterday, but the day just kind of got away from me, so I apologize. Um, Part of the reason was it was such a difficult list to put together. Um, Picking 10 war movies that you love the best when you have literally 60 or 70 in your collection is a little difficult, so this took a little bit of time. But I've narrowed it down to 10. I still, even with this pile of movies beside me, I'm still not quite sure if this is what I want as my list, but it's going to be the one that I present to you today. So these will be the top 10 war movies. Doesn't matter what conflict, war movies. Audio is supplied by the Ulanzi J12 cordless lapel microphone. It's right here, this little black thing. That's it right there, the J12. This thing is the best $40 you'll ever spend. It comes in this black hard shell case, 2 clip-ons, and a transmitter which you plug into the phone. The case also serves as a charging port, and you can use this with iPhone or Android. This is, of course, Android. It's also available in a single pack or a double pack in black or white. So there you go. There are 2 mini-series videos on this list. Some of you say, well, that's not a movie. Well, I say it is. So, if you guys want to make a top 10 list without mini-series, that's fine. But the quality of these mini-series, these things deserve to be representative. And that is where we start at number 10 with Generation War. Now, I'm sure a lot of you who are going to watch this or are watching me now have never seen such a film. That's because it's German. This is a 2-disc set. Detailing the adventures of 2 brothers who go off to fight the Soviets in the summer of 1941. And the film takes place around their adventures. Also, one of their friends who happens to be Jewish, and the Jewish friend's girlfriend who gets entangled with the Gestapo, and another girl that is in love with the older brother who winds up being a nurse on the front lines. They call this the German Band of Brothers. Yeah, I could see it. You are certainly hoping that everything ends well for these people because they're likable characters, even though they're in the German army and they're German citizens, and they felt what they were doing was right and correct. This is so stunning visually. They got everything right with this. The uniforms, the weapons, the tanks. There's narration on it. It's just so good. I advise you all, if you haven't seen this film, Generation War, they call it the German Band of Brothers, I highly advise that you find it. Whether it's YouTube or I'm sure you can find this on Amazon. This is the Blu-ray. This is it really deals a lot with German war guilt. I don't know how guilty the Germans were or how they felt, but it's just such a great watch. Politics aside, it's a superior film. Watch it with subtitles. It's just fantastic. Generation War, number 10. High quality production. Fantastic film. You'll love it. I guarantee it. Number 9. We're going into World War I here. 1917. Directed by Sam Mendes. What a beautiful film this is. Visually stunning, sonically amazing. The score is just fantastic. and it certainly demonstrates the horrors of trench warfare in World War One. This has to do with two British service members who are racing against time to stop a British attack against the Germans. The Germans have systematically withdrawn, and these two comrades are racing against time to prevent the attack because there's 1,600 men that are going to be led into a trap and they're going to get slaughtered. It's in one continuous shot, or that's what they say it is. It really isn't. There are two cuts, and I'll leave it up to you to see if you guys can identify them. I know what they are. Such a great film. It's so good to see World War One truly represented in cinema. I feel there's a lot of subject matter that's out there about World War One that just doesn't get made. A brutal war, Eastern Front, Western Front, whatever it is, Jutland, anything, any of that stuff. I mean, Verdun. I mean, can we please get a movie about Verdun? I mean, come on now, Spielberg, are you out there? Do a film about Verdun. 1917, number 9. A beautiful film, visually stunning, so good. A great cast. You'll recognize some familiar faces in it. Yeah, 1917. Buy it, watch it, you'll love it. It's fantastic. Number 8. I wanted to put this higher, but when you see what's in front of it, you'll realize why I didn't. Schindler's List. Just a brutal film. To me, this is Spielberg at his all-time best. I don't think he's ever done a better movie than this, although there is a movie that he's done that's ahead of it in this list, but this, to me, is Spielberg at his directing height. This movie needs to be seen by every person on this planet. If you have not seen Schindler's List, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Beautifully shot. It's in black and white. There is one small part in color. It needs to be in black and white. It just makes it that more frightening, and it really lends a sense of realism to what these poor people went through. Oskar Schindler is a war profiteer. He makes pots and pans for the Wehrmacht. And he gets these Polish Jews to work in his factory. Pays them little, but they get to leave the ghetto and go to work. They're essential workers. As the film goes on, they become less and less essential. But not the Schindler, who deserves credit for saving these people's lives. Liam Neeson, just fantastic. Ralph Fiennes, just fantastic as Amon Gert, the SS concentration camp. Olsten's Führer, or whatever it's called. Just fantastic. Ben Kingsley is just amazing. Schindler's List. You need to see this film if you haven't. If you haven't seen this film, you're denying yourself of one of the greatest artistic achievements of Steven Spielberg's career. Schindler's List. That's number 8. Number 7. And this is one of my favorite films. Platoon, directed by Oliver Stone, highlighting the horrors of the Vietnam conflict. Fantastic casting. Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, William Dafoe, Forrest Whitaker. Just tremendous film. It's based on Stone's experience in Vietnam. He is a composite of, he is the Charlie Sheen character, basically. It really puts into perspective how useless this whole situation was. You're fighting yourself, you're fighting your enemy, you're fighting your platoon's will to win. Um, just tremendous film. It's brutal. It really is. And then when you watch this, you realize that, you know what, most of these guys were teenagers, 18, 19. The average age in Vietnam was 19. The average age in World War II, I think, was 23. So that's quite a difference in age. So there's a maturity level here. These guys are going into war and just facing an unwinnable situation. Stunningly, the visuals are stunning. Sound quality's tremendous. This needs to be 4K'd. The Blu-ray is a little grainy, quality-wise, but the film is just fantastic. Platoon, this is a must-see. If you haven't watched Platoon, sit down on your couch, turn it on, and watch it. And you'll appreciate what these people went through, all for you. And do yourselves a favor. Whenever you're out and about and you see a Vietnam veteran, say thank you. Because the way these people were treated when they came home to the United States was absolutely disgusting. For any veteran to go through that is just wrong. See one of these people and just thank them. Whatever war it is, Vietnam, World War II, there's not many of those guys left. Korea, Desert Storm. You see a guy with a veteran, a U.S. veteran hat on. Thank them. You'll make their day. Platoon, masterpiece of film work by the great Oliver Stone. Okay. Number 5, we return to World War II, The Longest Day. This is just an absolute war epic. It's filmed in black and white, and I love black and white. I think every war film should be filmed in black and white. There's just something about it that creates more of a warlike atmosphere from what I just me. That's just what I like. Black and white makes it real. The invasion of Normandy. Where are the Allies going to land? The Germans are clueless. The Americans, the British, the Allies, they're all ready to go. The French are forced to fire on their homeland. All-star cast. Just tremendous, tremendous film. John Wayne in all his glory. Henry Fonda. Just tremendous, tremendous film. Before there was another film by Steven Spielberg about this Day of Days. This was the measuring stick for any movie about the subject of D-Day. The Longest Day. It's a masterpiece. Find it, buy it, watch it, enjoy it. It's fantastic. Now, we're going to go back in time to the Civil War. Glory. The true story of the 54th, the 1st African American Combat Division. I can't say enough about the performances in this film. Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, and the great Morgan Freeman. So good. Just riveting entertainment. The fact that these guys were giving up their freedom. These were these were slaves that were free to go fight the secession. It's a tearjerker. It's a brutal film. The combat, let's face it, combat's never fun. But this combat was just brutal, mostly hand to hand. The performances, I don't think Denzel Washington has ever topped this film. And he's made some great films. Great actor. Glory. Masterpiece. You will love this film. The 54th, Give 'Em Hell. And now we go back to World War II. And this is more of a this is a war film, but it's a story about a specific individual in World War II. Patton, starring the great George C. Scott, and Carl Malden as General Omar Bradley. Um, George C. Scott won the Best Actor award for this film, but he turned it down, and he told Carl Malden to take it because he thought Carl Malden did a better job. Um, Patton was an interesting figure, not only a brilliant commander, he was a fanatic, a religious fanatic. He believed he lived in other centuries. Just a really complex individual who kept Nazis on the Nazis. He kept Nazis on the job after the war, which was a violation of the denazification rules that the Allies had set up. He wanted to go to war with Russia. The man was just unlike anyone else that probably ever served in this capacity. And this film just shows it, just right from the beginning, the opening scene of Patton addressing the troops standing in front of a gigantic American flag. George C. Scott did not want that to be the opening scene because he felt it was all downhill from there. And how wrong he was, because his performance is just unbelievable. He never matched it. There's this thing about these older war films that just grabs me. It's the way they look. It's the film, it's the cinemascope, whatever they're shooting it in. The colors are just, I don't know, they just look realer than these digital things. I'm an old school guy, so I guess I just like the film look better than this digital stuff. Although this is obviously a digital recording that I'm doing. This film is just fantastic. The minute you turn it on, you're glued to the screen. Patton, an absolute masterpiece. At number 4. Number 3, we have that name again, Steven Spielberg. Saving Private Ryan. Just a fantastic film. The opening 30 minutes is just beyond brutal. As Spielberg has said, you can't sugarcoat D-Day. And trust me when I tell you, he does not. The film is fantastic. Tom Hanks is tremendous. The great Tom Sizemore, rest in peace, is fantastic as his sergeant. Ed Norton, Matt Damon, who was in it the last half hour or so. Just a tremendous film. They got a lot of this right historically. Highlighting the craziness of war after this invasion is the fact that 4 brothers are fighting a war all at the same time. 2 of them are killed in Normandy. The third was killed in the Pacific. And then you've got this young man who jumps from a plane with a parachute into occupied Europe. Where is he? The drop zones are all over the place. The troops were scattered everywhere. Sticks in the wind, as they say. And the job is to save Private Ryan and bring him home to his mother. Did they do it? We don't know. You got to watch to find out. Number 3 in the best war films, directed by Steven Spielberg, Saving Private Ryan. Number 2, perhaps one of the greatest on-screen performances of one of the most vile human beings to ever walk the planet Earth. Downfall, starring the great Bruno Ganz. This is about Hitler's last several days in his bunker as the Russians are coming in. They've got Berlin surrounded, and it's just a matter of time before the downfall. I can't say enough about the performance in this film of Bruno Ganz. You really feel like you're watching Hitler. You really do. The story is told by Hitler's secretary, and she starts the movie. The actual person starts the movie, and she explains kind of what she was witnessing and going through at the time. Um, and it's just a sickening, brutal film. But it is so riveting, you can't stop watching it because of this man right here. His performance is top notch. I mean, you're not going to get a better performance of this person, of this figure, than this film. That's why it's at number 2, because to me, this is a never-ending subject matter that should be explored in film. I would love to see Steven Spielberg make a film about Hitler, because it's just a fascinating subject. How an entire nation followed these madmen into oblivion is it's an absolute head scratcher. And you'll see the other characters involved in this lunacy, Spear and Goebbels and his wife, and how they poison their kids, and how Hitler, the only time he ever cried was when they killed his dog, and just a fantastic film. Downfall, once again. Watch it with subtitles, please. Number 2 in the all-time greatest World War movies. Downfall. Don't miss it. Watch it. Absolutely brilliant. Well, that's it so far. That's 9. Whoops. Oh, I almost knocked my camera down. That's 9. And I think a pretty decent list. And here's number 1. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that there's 2 miniseries as part of this list. You already saw Generation War at number 10, and sandwiching that at number 1, Band of Brothers, made by HBO Films, in cooperation with Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. This is just so well done. Even though it's as long as it is, you don't care because it's so good. Brilliant piece of filmmaking. Casting is fantastic. Mark Wahlberg, just fantastic. Portraying real people. These were the guys that jumped into Europe. Fortress Europa, Hitler's unpregnable fortress, pierced by these guys jumping behind enemy lines with 80 pounds of equipment, jumping from 1,500 feet in complete darkness, carrying 150 pounds of equipment on their backs and tied to their legs. And they made $50 a month. Think about that. $50. That's why these guys did it, because it paid more than the regular infantrymen. The Airborne Division, the 101st. This is highlighted from D-Day on to the end of the war, where they liberate Hitler's house, Berchtesgaden. The Eagle's Nest. Just brilliant. David Schwimmer's in it. Lots of great performances here. And historically accurate. It's the 506th Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, the United States Army. You will see the actual surviving members of this group, or Band of Brothers, at the start of the episodes. They basically give you their synopsis of what they were going through. And then you watch each episode from the first jump to the end when the war ends and the German army surrenders. And then at the end, you'll see where these guys realize that, yeah, the Germans were the enemy, but they were doing what they thought should be done. And there's a scene at the end which is really powerful when a German general addresses his surrendered troops and the paratroopers are watching. And I think, based on what I see, they kind of respect these guys. Band of Brothers, the #1 war film, in my opinion. It's must-see filmmaking. Get this film or watch it on HBO Max or whatever streaming service it's on. Riveting, epic, fantastic. Band of Brothers, the #1 war film, in my opinion. You can't beat it. It's just so well made. There you have it. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that disagree with this list, and that's fine. There's a lot of things I could have put on here. Full Metal Jacket, Bridget Remigan, Sink to Bismarck, Paths of Glory, Von Ryan's Express, The Lost Battalion, so many. Casualties of War. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Patriot, just so many of them. Battle of Britain, just great films, but I have these 10, and that's what I think is probably the best. Would I take any out? Probably not. I would have to think about it some more, and maybe I'll come up with list 1A. Who knows? Thank you for watching. The next video I will make will be Star Wars, the 10 best. This ought to be good. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the list, and have a great day. Take care.